Welcome back. We're now going to be looking at the 2nd Infantry Division and all its units in the game. Previously, we looked at the 1st Armour Division, the United Kingdom, and this is the 2nd Division for the United Kingdom within NATO and Warno. So first and foremost, we have the Bedford MJ Supply in the Logistics tab. Pretty standard supply vehicle here, 60 points, quite a bit of supply. We've seen this before already. We've got Chinook HC1 Supply. Nice little skin on that as well, actually, looks pretty cool. Really good amount of supply on that as well. Next, we have the M577 GA2 command vehicle, which is a German vehicle. I'm surprised they put the German on there because there is selections of British vehicles, which is quite interesting. So not too bad, a little bit of good armour as well. And then we've got the Rover command vehicle. Not bad as well. It's quite quick, get around the battlefield, quite small. The stealth's quite bad, which is a bit frustrating for the size of it is. Next, with the Royal Military Police and Infantry tab. We've seen these guys before. Can be used to bolster defense positions. Not bad against infantry, to be honest, because they're machine gun, the battle rifle, and the submachine gun. So it's actually a pretty good mix there for this unit, quite frankly. But the only thing is, there's only 4-man strength, which is a bit shite. Next, we've got the Terriers gun group, which is very much the Territorials reserve units in real life. So they've got the SLR and this L7A2. Another unit could be used for bolstering defensive positions. But personally, I would actually go for the RMP over these guys. You can see the stats in comparison. For the same price, you literally get an extra weapon system. So, in my eyes, I would go for probably the RMP, but then you've got 2 L7A2 machine guns, so you've got a little bit more firepower for the Terriers gun group. Terriers gun group, should I say, sorry. Terriers again, which is pretty much territorial, I'm assuming they've just renamed that a little bit. So, you've got the Terriers Leaders group with the SLR, the M72 Law, 130 point unit. Not a bad unit actually, but I've seen units for roughly similar price with more firepower and a stronger size. So once again, I feel as if, I don't know, the attributes for British units, it's quite low sometimes and the prices are quite high, which is quite interesting to see what they've done that in the game. For what I'm seeing, I haven't seen any like really good British units, which is I feel like they've been let down a little bit, in my opinion, in the game so far. Next, we've got the Terriers. Standard L4A4 M72 Law, 8-man group there. Actually is pretty poor, as you can see. Next are the Terriers anti-tank group, the Carl Gustaf M2. Once we have a cheap unit 4-man fire team. Next are the L6 Wombat. That is a big boy. We've seen similar weapon systems in Germany and Soviet Union decks. I guess it can do its job. Penetration 15. It's quite slow at reloading, which sucks a little bit. But 35 points, not too bad of a unit. Then we've got the Milan 1 and 2. The Milan 2 is a pretty good weapon system, to be fair. 75 points for this weapon. So pretty good for fighting against anti-tank weapon systems and tanks and armor and stuff like that. So pretty good. Got good range as well and good accuracy on the highest level there. Next are the Air Mobile Leaders, which is pretty much the Parachute Regiment. Only have the L85A1, but it's an 8-man team. Probably a pretty good unit here, actually. Actually saying that the accuracy and the motion actually is pretty poor once again, which kind of sucks here. There's no great astonishing infantry units I've seen so far. Hopefully we'll find some here. Next we have the Airborne Gun Group, which is pretty much just the Parachute Regiment with the L7A2, 3 tons machine guns, so pretty powerful weapon systems to pin down enemy infantry, to be fair. The suppression rate's quite high with those 3 of those guns as well. So that'd be really good at assault positions. Next, the Air Mobile for the L85, L86A1, and the Law 80. Once again, not a bad unit, not the best. The anti-tank rocket launcher is not bad at all, actually, to be fair. 20 penetration. If you bump that up, you're getting 75% accuracy, so actually that's a pretty good weapon system, quite frankly. Not bad. Only thing is, the light support weapon's not the greatest, as you can see. Next, the Rifles Leaders, just a 6-man group with the L7A2 and the M72 Law. Probably the better leader group out of the 2 so far we've looked at, compared to the Air Mobile, because it's got assault rifles. But this has a mixture of weapon systems. Next are the armed rifles. You can equip these guys with the V510 Warrior Milan and just the Warrior. Not a bad unit, to be fair. 7-man group with the L86 LSW, sorry, and M72 Law. Still, once again, not the best infantry weapons in the game, but not a bad fighting vehicle, to be honest. We have the Heimatschutzten, which I don't know what Heimat means, but I know Schutzten means rifleman. Some better weapon systems here. You can see the axe is a little bit better. The reloading stats and shoot attributes are a little bit better on these weapon systems, as you can see. So clearly the Germans and the Americans had better weapons than the British at this time. Well, small arms anyway, as you can see. And the MG3 and the Panzerfaust, not bad at all. Next are the Assault Pioneers. I think we've seen these previously as well. Got the selection of vehicles we can put them in. The L2A3 submachine gun. The Terriers, Pioneers with the Satchel Charge and the L4A4, which is quite interesting. And then the Assault Pioneers with another Satchel Charge as well, but with an LSW. It's quite interesting using the L4A4. I'm pretty sure they're GPMGs at this time, because this was in the 80s. So I'm pretty sure that the early stages of the general purpose machine gun, considering the other countries have M249 sword machine guns, I'm pretty sure they weren't using the L4A4. I'm pretty sure at this time they were potentially using the GPMG old school version. So that's quite interesting that they've not added that in. I don't know why I've not done that. Moving on, we then have the G3A4 Carl Gustaf M2 and the Jaeger unit with the MG3 machine gun and the Panzerfaust. Pretty good units. Considering in this deck right now, the better units in this deck is a German unit. And there's no good British infantry, to be honest, which is quite bizarre. Because the Parachute Air Mobile Gun Group, these guys are paratroopers, right? These guys are pretty badass. One of the best infantry units in the world, but yet they're not really reflected very much in this game, which kind of sucks a little bit. It's a bit frustrating. And last and foremost, with the Special Air Service, once again in the game, it's reflected as it's quite expensive units. You can see it's got 84 Stinger posts and the submachine guns. Really, really good saboteur units in the game. They've got the capability of taking out any aircraft, any vehicle, more or less, on the battlefield. They're not the greatest against infantry. They're not too bad. They're survivability. I've noticed they can take a beating. They take a lot longer to kill, which I think they may have scripted in the game, but it doesn't really say. I've seen it in the battlefield, which is quite cool. In firefights, they seem to last a lot longer, and I think that's due to the submachine gun. But yeah, very good unit. Probably the best unit, I would say, infantry unit in the entire British divisions is the Special Air Service, which kind of makes sense because of who they are. Moving on to the artillery tab, we have the 81mm mortar with the L16. 81mm range, which is 4,900, not too bad. Then we have 120mm mortar with a better range there, an extra 1,000 range on top of it, more or less, for an extra 20 points though. If you should compare side by side. We're actually looking at another 200 range, which is kind of poor. Suppression rate's a lot better. The high explosive is just a little bit better. But the shooting attributes are actually better on the 50mm. So you're probably better off actually buying the British 81mm, quite frankly. But you're sacrificing 200 range, but that's not a problem. You probably have more rounds as well. Actually, not even more rounds. That's surprising, actually. I think the suppression rate may be a big factor in this, to be honest, quite frankly. So, as you can see, the supply cost is quite high as well. But interesting. Right, we've got 105 and 155mm howitzers. Good range on the 155. But personally, I had a preference on that. And last, we have 175mm howitzer gun. And this is an excellent quality. One of the first excellent qualities we've seen in this division, which is quite surprising. So, yeah, good unit. Good artillery piece, really high suppression rate, really good high explosive rate. It's probably one of the best artillery howitzers in the game. So nice. As you can see, it's reflected in its price and unit quality. Next, we have the Iltis Milan, which has just the penetration against ground vehicles. And the Rover Milan, pretty much exactly the same weapon system, but just upgraded version. Penetration 24. Not bad, as you can get around quickly, engaged units, come back, pull out. So it can be used in multiple different variations on the battlefield. Primarily, I'd use them as defense or last resort. Next are the M48A2 Führer command tank. Not a bad unit. Can be used for supporting infantry more than anything. They're not very good against other armor. As you can see, 5 front armor is pretty poor. One hit from any tank against this, it's just going to blow it up quite easily. Then we have the Challenger Mark II and the Challenger Mark II Command. Probably one of the top vehicles armored in the game. But only got a mediocre unit quality, which kind of sucks a little bit. It's not the best tank. We've seen there is better tanks in the game, which once again is a bit frustrating to see that they haven't got better units in the game for the British division, and considering how costly they are as well. But across the board, the stats are pretty good for the whole weapon systems and stuff like that. So they are good tanks. It's just not reflected in unit quality, which is a bit frustrating. Okay, next for the Recon tab, we have the Ferret Mark II. and the FV721 Fox, which has the autocannon, and the normal one just has the submachine gun, or medium machine gun, so we say, sorry. Not bad units, good stealth and good optics, good to get around. I'll personally go for the FV, I'll go for the Fox more than the Ferret, because you have 2 optional weapon systems for an extra 50 or 25 points, so it may go a long way in battle, you have more options. Okay, next we have the Terriers Scouts, Territorial Scouts, which is just your standard Territorial Reserve unit. Very good stealth, or very good optics, sorry, exceptional stealth, which is good. But these guys are probably, I wouldn't even use these for much on this, other than just sitting around the battlefield and just getting eyes on them. They can take out units, quite frankly, you can see, infantry, but not going to put up a big fight because only 4 of them. I have the Scout units, which has a variation of vehicles. Once again, very good optics. The stealth is exceptional. More a variation of weapon systems. Extra 5 points compared to the Terrier Scouts. So personally, I would go for these over them any day because of the variation of weapons. Next, we have the Air Mobile Scouts. So the Parachute Regiment Scout Group, more or less. With the LA6, A1, LSW, and the L7A2. Probably better unit to fight against other units, actually. 8-man team. Squad with very good optics and exceptional stealth, so actually a pretty good unit to actually take on other infantry in the game. Next we have the Gazelle, which is very good optics. Got to have that recon helicopter. And then we have Jäger Ufkl, or how do you pronounce that? With unit quality is excellent. So as you can see, it's just put you side by side by the Air Mobile Scouts. So you're looking at exact same points, but supply cost is lower on the British ones, the Air Mobile. We've got a light support weapon has a better rate of fire compared to the medium machine gun. I'm just trying to look. High explosive weapon damage on the L85A1 compared to G304 is very low, and the suppression rate is very low. That's probably what it is. The weapon system's a lot better in the German arsenal than compared to ours. Once again, the MG3 has a better high explosive rate. It says the light support weapon has a higher suppression rate, which in real life that does not reflect an LSW. NSW is accurate, I give it that, because of the weapon system itself. It's pretty much an L85A1 on a tripod. I have a grip, and it's only a 30 round magazine, whereas MG3 is like a 60 or 80 mag. Well, it actually can be belt fed as well. So that suppression rate is not very accurate to what it should be like in real life, to be honest, quite frankly. But the Jaegers also have the Panzer first as well. So yeah, realistically, the Jaegers are a better unit because of that variation. But that's the MG3, are not right. Quite frankly, ground targets at 850 meters LSW. Yeah, that's not really right. Imagine trying to shoot at the 800 meters of that thing. You're probably looking at 400, 500 meters max. But then again, the tripod does allow that extra range. The MG3 definitely has a longer range than that. But there we go. Interesting. The MG3 has better accuracy than the LA6A1, which doesn't make sense either, because of the. It probably makes more sense for the LSW to be more accurate than MG3, because MG3 is quite gnarly. But again, I don't know. But some of the stats seem a bit off, a bit crazy. They've kind of the rate of fire on the LSW is 399 compared to the MG3. Are you taking the piss? The rate of fire is high. It's a higher rate of fire than what's called in an LSW with a 30 round magazine compared to an MG3 of a belt fed machine gun. That is silly, right? This comparison is ridiculous here. I think they really need to reflect and look at some of the stats here. Right, let's just stop going too deep into this. I'm just looking at units. Right, moving on. Anti-air. Right, so we got first and foremost got the blowpipe, air defense unit, nice and cheap, 10 points. Probably the cheapest AA units I've seen in the game. But I guess they're good to get around the map, dot them around. Exceptional stealth, and they do make a difference in the grand scheme of things. Next, we have a javelin, infrared, a little bit more expensive unit, and then you have the javelin LML, which is a tripod weapon system. And some sort of static weapon system. Very nice, actually. 9 rounds. Let's just compare it to the standard javelin. Actually, it's a little bit better. It's got the same range because it's the same weapon system, but it's on an actual tripod, more or less. Rate of fire is high on the LMM, which makes sense because it is on that platform. Personally, I would say the accuracy is a bit more better in this weapon system because that does make a big difference potentially. But okay, but they're giving you the extra accuracy. Next, you have the rapier, infrared. Which is a good weapon system against helicopters and not bad against aircraft, but accuracy on this thing is really good. Bump that, you got 81% accuracy there, so a really good actual AA weapon system against aircraft, helicopters, sorry. So I'd highly recommend putting these on your front line. And also fine forgets on even radar, so really, really good area defense, actually, to be fair. Probably one of the best in the game, I'd say, personally. Next, you have the Rapier again, once again on the chassis of the tracked Rapier, so it's on a mobile unit, so that's pretty good. Good range, stuff like good stats as well, and you get to move around a little bit quicker, so another good aircraft or anti-air weapon system here. Next, for the Gazelle AH-1 rocket, which gives you the SNEB 68mm rocket pod. Good actually, not too bad actually. It's given an extra unit quality as well. I think that's reflected because of the price. It's only 20 points for what you're getting, so it's actually pretty good, and it's fast as well. Get rid of battlefield, quickly take out units and pull back. Next are the Lynx AH-1 Hellarm with the tow, and then once again the Lynx AH-7 with the Hellarm with the ITOW, the newer version. Better penetration rate 20, and not bad actually, and target range, sorry, said actually twice there. But yeah, not a bad aircraft actually, quite frankly. Really quick, once again, another quick. Lynx is a fast helicopter. Only thing that lets it down the penetration could be a bit more, so it's going to take at least maybe 2 hits on the big boy tanks. But still, good aircraft that can be utilised quite swiftly on the battlefield. Right, moving on to the aircraft tab, the final tab here, with the Harrier GR3 with the air-to-air missile. These things are good. They can be used. I've used them against helicopters. They're good to just send out if you need some. Like, I've seen a quick air assault on one of my positions before, and I needed aircraft because I didn't have enough AA or seen them flanking me. And I've purchased 2 or 3 of these quickly because you can get these, and they come in, swoop in, and take out helicopters. But definitely work better in the pairs, taking out other air superiority fighters. So just bear that in mind. Got Harrier GR3 Rocket 2 with 2 SNEB rockets. Pretty good against ground infantry. Then you got a high explosive version with just 2 times 450 kg bombs. Not the best, but it has the AIM-9L, so it can also take a helicopter, so it can also do multi-roll. It can hit targets, bomb them, and also take out aircraft, so it's a good all-rounder. Then once again, you got Harrier GR3 with a Rocket 1 with the SNEB, 36 rocket pods on each side, and also the AIM-9L, so it comes to come and take out ground targets, and then also take out helicopters as well, so it's pretty good aircraft. Phantom F3 AA, you got the Sky Flash, which is your long-range air-to-surface missile, air-to-air missile, sorry, and then you got your short-range air-to-air missile right there. Not bad weapon system actually, for what it is. For the price as well, it's not bad. Next to the Jaeger G3 GR1A cluster with 4 times 264 cluster bombs and also an air-to-air missile. Nice, good combination there. And a Jaeger GR1A with 8 times 227 kg bombs. Nice there. Really good, bit of bigger payload there. Good fast aircraft as well. These are a little bit more expensive than the Harriers because of the weapons they have. So if you want something that's a bit more stronger all-rounder, I would go for the Jaegers than compared to the Harriers. And then the High Explosive 2, which has a 500 kilogram bomb times by 4. And once again has the AIM-9L as well. And obviously it's Gatling gun. And final foremost, we have the Tornado GR1, which is the best aircraft here in this division, which has the Mark 18 RET 513 kilogram bombs times by 6, and also has the AIM-9M air-to-air missiles. So it has a good variation weapon systems here, and it's reflected in its price, 300. It's probably one of the most expensive aircraft in the game I've seen. It's definitely up there, but I can see it's reflected in its ability here. It's got good ECM, air optics, very good agility, so it makes sense. It's a very good aircraft, very, very good. So highly recommend equipping this in your deck for a good all-rounder. Alright, so that is the 2nd Infantry Division gone through, and I think the last division we need to look at now is the French divisions. I think there's 2 or 3, and then I think we've done all the units, and then from there we'll probably look at building some decks and actually playing some people a little bit more. I've been playing some games, if you've seen some of my videos, on and off, but I'd like to actually get in and create each deck and then go and battle in every single game with each deck, really, from every single division, and have a go. Alright, I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next episode in the French divisions.